Oh, good morning, and welcome to Kwak TV, because why watch crap TV where you can watch Kwak TV? With me, Calvin, and before I bring today's guest on, I cannot wait. We've never met before. Literally, speaking before the show is all we've ever spoken, so I can't wait. But yes, so if you are watching live, please jump on in the comments and say good morning to me. Tell me who you are, what you're drinking, where you are, who you're doing. I don't care. Tell me. And if you are watching on replay, please put hashtag replay in the comments, because it makes me slightly happy to know who stalks me. Diane, good morning to you, my love. Hope you are well on this fine morning, you glorious lady. But yes, it is another fabulous day. I can't believe we're practically halfway through April. How has that happened? I really do not know how that has happened at all. I don't get it. But what have you all done this week? This week for me, I've been out and about, making sure I'm supporting them local businesses. I told you I'm going to talk about it every day. Hope you've all been doing it as well. Instead of grabbing that coffee from, I don't know why you grab a coffee from Costa. It's a pile of crap, to be honest. Why get a coffee from Costa? But go to your small local independent businesses. I am going to bang on about it as long as I can. I take it with me saying that. This must be Lee. Good morning, Lee. If you are a Facebook user, by the way, please go to the description at the top, click the more button, and allow StreamYard to let me see your name, because then I know exactly who you are. Otherwise, I'm just winging it. See, that might not have been Lee. How do I know? But yes, so it is a fabulous, fabulous day. Near the end of another week as well. And what have you done so far to make this week count? If you haven't made this week count, you've got a few days left. Make sure you do it. So, as we know, every morning on Kwak TV, I like to go through an array of different things. Either it be days of the year, Google Trends, weird and wonderful news. I try and make it as positive and as happy as I can. I try to. So today, your days of the year are as follows. It is Husband Appreciation Day. If you actually need a day to do that, I think you need to look at that, personally. It is also High Five Day. Maybe do an air high five. Remember, stay COVID safe, people. It's That Sucks Day. That's boring. I don't like that one. It's also Anime Day, and it is also ASL Day, American Sign Language Day. But instead of practicing just American Sign Language, why don't you practice some BSL? You might as well learn some basic alphabet in sign language. It can get you quite far. Trust me. Good morning, Deborah. Hope you are well. Not talked to you in a while, my lovely. And good. Oh, Diane, busy interacting with potential clients. That's what we like to hear first thing in the morning. Christ, they are eager beavers. Gary Jones, good morning, sir. Gary, you're going to like this because my guest today actually has a podcast, so you are going to enjoy this. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. So I'm not going to mess around this morning. I'm going to bring on today's guest very, very shortly. So today's guest, like I said, never met before. Just discovered each other on LinkedIn, had a bit of chat, and I was like, okay, I want this person on my show. They are /was international model. They are a coach. They have had couple of businesses before they came into coaching, and it's been absolutely fabulous. And they have got a podcast and show themselves. Like, it's great. I love bringing people on that have got other things, because I just love it. I really, really do. First of all, before I do that, good morning. I love to learn BSL. Deborah, watch a couple of videos on YouTube. And Cara, the Quackette, is here. Good morning, Cara. Hope you are well, darling. So with no further ado, please, big warm welcome to Jack Revell. Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Callum?
I'm very well. How are you?
Super well, mate. I love your introductions. They are fabulous. I did not know that there was so many days. It could be so many days.
I do it every day. Every day. It's so funny. You get something that's like Otter Appreciation Day, and it's like,
what's been your favourite so far of the year?
Oh, Rubber Duck Day, because it's all my branding. It's all my branding. It's Rubber Duck Day.
I'm going to put it in my diary for next year.
Yeah, honestly, Rubber Duck Day, it's fabulous. But you can submit all of your own as well. Like, it's really, really cool. I absolutely
You should come up with a Callum Day.
Oh, duh. Every day is Callum Day. Every day is Callum Day. What can I say?
That's what I was fishing for.
Jack, before we dive in, can you just tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So my name is Jack Revell. I am a confidence coach, but I work specifically in the realm of cameras. So I help people show up more confidently online in order to make an impact in their business.
I like that. I like that. That's real short and sweet. I love it. Absolutely love it. But obviously, you didn't start in coaching, did you? That's not how you started.
No, not at all.
Street food, and you had something else, I believe, didn't you?
Yeah, I hold the name Jack of all trades and a master of none for a while. That was definitely something that people used to call me. No, I've sort of left school and did lots of other different things. I kind of just kept myself going. I was a bit of a hustler. I just tried to keep myself afloat. I moved out quite early in life, so I thought, I need to look after myself here. But yeah, I had an event company for a while, and then I had a sort of a subsidiary of that, which was kind of working in the modeling industry, but helping events that wanted good-looking people at their events, kind of put them together. So I was like, I'll put guys and girls in front of like fashion events and made that happen. And then a couple of years later, after I'd done some traveling, I started a street food company. It was all about eggs, and it was called Get Laid. And it was a really good fun event. It was kind of like, Saturday brunch, music, DJ, mimosas and Bloody Marys with some awesome food. I did that for about 3.5 years, took that to South Africa and operated it there for a while. And then I came back and was kind of like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like being in a kitchen all the time. I need to do something a bit more practical. And actually went to a coach to figure out what I needed to do in my life, as the cliche goes. And so I was totally taken back by what she did to me. And it sent me on this amazing self-development journey, of which I'm still on now, but it's kind of opened my eyes to loads more new things. And so, I studied and worked my ass off to become a qualified coach and an NLP practitioner. And that's what I do with my life at the moment.
Oh, see, but that's such an awesome journey. There's so many people that are very similar. You get to this point in your life where you're like, this just isn't feeding my soul anymore, at all. And it's so important. I was actually talking about this a couple of days ago with someone, and you really do need to learn, or if you don't, ask someone. Just have a session with a coach of some sort or someone that's in that line of work. You will learn things about yourself. You've probably gone, I didn't realize that. So what made you go towards actually using a coach? Because obviously you've become one. So what made you go towards using a coach?
Absolutely. It was funny enough, it was actually a present. I would never have thought about going to a coach, because if I'm honest with you, when I was, mid-20s, sort of 26, 27, I thought, I know it all. I've got this covered. Like, I've done it before. I've been here before. I know what I'm doing. And it was actually someone who said, no, appreciate that's where you're at, but I think it'd be just helpful to kind of give your story and tell someone how you're feeling to someone who doesn't know you, someone who's completely kind of impartial to what you're all about. And they were absolutely right. And I went for an 1.5-hour session, ended up booking for 6 more. And it didn't, there wasn't anything that was like, oh my God, life-changing moment, light bulb, kind of anything that went on like that. But it was just an awareness of kind of like what I was capable of, and putting things into perspective and saying, like, I'm focusing all of my energy here when it's not really getting me anywhere. Why don't I just forget that and start doing this? That's actually going to get me somewhere in the long run. And it kind of just taught me some foundational level, some fundamental things about kind of myself, and also how to kind of manage my life, that allowed me to then become the person I am today.
Yeah. And honestly, it is awesome, isn't it? Like, you get people that, you'll probably have this yourself in coaching as well. You get people that have a one-off session with you, a bit like what you had. And it's so awesome for us when that light bulb does go off. You kind of see it and you're like, yeah, they've got it now. They've got it now. They understand it. And it's absolutely amazing. But like, if we rewind to your modeling, that sounds like, obviously, most guys is like pretty much dream. Like, that's most guys like pretty much dream. No matter how they identify or whatever, that sounds like great. I'm a model. I'm going to be going all over the world, or even all around the country if you're not going to go global. Obviously, I've done a bit of research on you. Obviously, I'm a stalker of everyone that comes on the show. Why did you end up realizing that wasn't for you? Because you obviously realized it really wasn't what you wanted to do anymore.
Yeah, it's a good question. So yeah, modeling is something I still do. It's going on 13 years now that I've been in the industry. And, for those that maybe have a bit of association with it will know that it's either a very short-lived thing. Either you're picked up quite young and you sort of get worked a lot, and you can earn great money and you travel the world and it's amazing, but you get sort of dropped just as easily. So it can actually cause a lot of people to sort of be in a bit of a spiral of, oh, well, I was there and now I'm here. And it causes some mental health issues in that respect. I was a bit different. I entered it quite late in the modeling world. I was about 18 when I started modeling, and that's actually quite late. And so what I found was that my look was a lot more commercial than a lot of other people. So I suppose, if you like, I'm always able to fit into a role if needed. I'm kind of like what they like to call the guy next door. I kind of just look like somebody that you'd see kind of doing a normal thing, like mowing the lawn or drinking a Coke. All that sort of stuff is what I do. But what I found with modeling, even though it's amazing, I love the lifestyle. It's, you work for yourself. You get to essentially pick and choose kind of where you go. I get to travel amazing amounts of places around the world. I have zero control over my earnings. And the problem is when I hit my 30s, I realized that actually there's a lot more important things in life about than just sort of traveling and kind of, having a good time, basically. And I realized actually I need to take a bit more control over this. And I'd experimented with having my own businesses over the years. And the one thing that stopped me pursuing it more was that sort of that feeling of, am I ready to settle down yet? Am I ready to sort of really give this a go? And so each business I've had, I've either sold or I've just put on the shelf for another time, because it was almost like exciting to try it. And now I've got to this point where I'm like, actually, I am ready to settle. You know, I want to, I've just bought a house, and, you know, I've got a really good network of people around me in London. I'm in a good space. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm in a good space. I really want to get my teeth sunk into something really special. And I want to build something that I can be proud of in the next couple of years. So modeling, if I'm honest with you, still happens. I can't say no. That, you know, the opportunity, the money, the you know, the people that I meet is awesome, and I'll never give that up as long as, you know, as long as they keep booking me, I'll keep doing it. But what it also has given me is a really good sort of platform to be able to do what I do now, which is teach people how to be confident in front of the camera in order to be able to make an impact online. And as I've been doing this for 12 years, and I've probably had over 1 million pieces of content made with my face or something with me in it, I know what it takes to be confident and know how to sell and shine down the lens. So that's like where this lovely synergy between what I do now and what I've been doing has come together and allowed me to help people in today's world.
But that's really cool, because I was going to say, like, I take it, obviously, modeling things, you have to be confident in front of a camera. Or if you're not first, you'll learn it, hopefully, pretty fast.
Yeah.
I've got quite a few friends that are very professional photographers, and even they say the first thing they have to get is someone confident and comfortable in front of a camera. Yeah. So why is that now obviously so important for you in what you do in helping other people do it? Why is it such an important thing?
Yeah. So first of all, if you look at what has happened in the last year, everything's gone virtual, right? The future is going to be work from home, doing everything online. You know, it's rare that you hear of anyone thinking, oh, if we go to an event or if we go to do something real life, people can now do that on the internet and on a camera. So the problem is a lot of people who before the pandemic have found themselves selling their value, sharing what they do, kind of talking to people in a real person kind of environment. They've now got to try and do that online. And for some reason, people have this block. When they see the camera, when they see a screen, they just don't know how to do it. And that's where I come in. That's what I help with people. So just like your friends, you know, who are photographers know, in order to get the most out of someone, you have to have energy, you have to have passion, you have to have some confidence. But the thing is, confidence isn't actually what you need. Confidence is a result of doing some things as, you know, that get you there. So if you think about confidence as a feeling, right? Confidence is something you get as a result of sort of working hard at something. Whereas if you think about it as preparation, right? If your preparation is the skill that you need, if you prepare enough for something, you will be confident as a result because you would have prepared and got yourself used to that thing. Practice. You know, you see people who stand up on stage and deliver speeches and, you know, get in front of cameras all the time. It's not because they've just done it. They may look like they've just done it, but they've actually practiced this over and over and over again. And to have, even if you ask the most confident person in the world, right, they'll still struggle at doing something they've never done before, right? So, you know, imposter syndrome comes into it a lot. And the only piece of advice I can give anyone who's looking to be more confident on camera is just to practice. It's the only way you're going to get better, right? It's like a muscle. You need to build it up. So yeah, in what I do is I teach people that fundamental sort of mindset shift. It's all about preparation and practice. Confidence comes as a result of that. And when you do that prep and practice, you can become unstoppable with anything you want to do.
You can't. It's so important. For example, you know, me doing this, I never would have thought of doing this. I did it just before Christmas. Christmas just gone in back end of 2020. I was like, oh, I'll give it a go, see what happens. I tried it for a couple of weeks, and people were messaging me going, oh, you're going to carry on doing it after Christmas? I was like, well, are you going to watch it? if you're going to watch it, I'll carry on doing it. I was like, yeah, we absolutely love it. And I've done it every day since, every single day. I've done it. And the confidence really does come with it. For example, you know, thank you for the compliment when you was coming on about the build-up and things. I just found my way of doing it for me, and it really, really works. Yeah, it helps I'm a public speaker as well. That does obviously come into the fold. But it's completely different speaking to a group of people, speak to a camera by yourself. Yeah. Completely different. Yeah. So how did obviously you get over that? Because it is really, really, it's quite nervous speaking to yourself. Even if you've got to get to the other end. Speaking to yourself is completely different.
Absolutely.
So how did you get over that?
So there's two things I do. First of all, I talk to one person. Just talk to one person. So imagine that there is just someone else on the other end of that camera or on that screen who's listening to you. So don't bother trying to talk to the masses because that scares you. That kind of puts this whole thing, oh, like, what if I say something that doesn't, upsets someone or doesn't make any sense or whatever, just talk to one person. And I like to give that person a name, right? So if it's maybe like I'm doing a bit more of a friendly chat, I'll be like, oh, I'm talking to my best mate Ben. Or if it's like a client, maybe I'll call him Kevin or something. I just give sort of avatars to people that I'm talking to in order to be able to get the best out of them. The second thing is I use a method that's called know, feel, do, right? So you have to know what you want to say. And that comes down to the preparation I was talking about earlier. You want to know how you want the audience to feel as a result of what you're telling them. So do you want them to feel excited? Do you want them to feel sad? Do you want them to feel happy? Do you want them just to be informed, right? And then the last one is do. What do you want them to do as a result of you talking on camera and being on this program? Do you want them to subscribe to your channel? Do you want them to buy your book? Do you want them to go to your website, right? If you know those three things, a little tip for people is you can put a Post-it note just here on your screen. And if you ever need to look back on it, and it doesn't matter if you flick your eyes ever so slightly to the left or to the right, because it's natural. We talk to people, we do that anyway. So if you go to Post-it Note, go to the Post-it Note, it just gives you a little checklist of what you're meant to say, and so therefore you don't stumble your words and don't lose your track and train of thought.
Love it. Like that is such good tips. Obviously, I do a lot of networking, and when I'm doing my public speaking, I do the Post-it Note trick next to the camera, and it really is so easy to flick your eyes to the right, to the left. And people don't have a clue. They don't have a clue, especially if you're maybe on Zoom or something like that. You're possibly just looking around the room at people there as well. Like, it is such a good tip for any type of speaking to a camera. It is so useful. Yeah. So your podcast, you've got a podcast, and I've looked at your podcast. You've had a few big names on your podcast. Like, you've had a few big names. Tell us a bit more about your podcast, Jack.
So yeah, podcast started back in sort of November last year, and I'll be honest with you, I started it purely because I was actually a co-host on another podcast about a year ago, or a bit longer than that, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I just love the fact that you can have a really cool conversation with someone, dive a bit deeper than a normal sort of just like chit chat kind of conversation. And I found myself just like when that kind of fell apart, I was like, oh, I really want to do my own one. And what I found was with my coaching is I was having these amazing conversations with people that would kind of go off on these incredible tangents, and we'd dive so deep into what was going on with them. And it would always be a positive outcome, because I'm very much on the positive side of coaching, And I thought, what, I'd love to be able to capture some of these conversations for other people and like sort of share the insights that have come out of this conversation for people to take away. And so I thought, well, sod it. Let's just do one. Let's do a podcast. So yeah, I've been doing it now. I've got 30 odd episodes out. And what I like to do is just have meaningful conversations with interesting humans for the benefit of anyone that wants to listen. And we talk from everything from other coaches through to like sports stars, through to business entrepreneurs and everyone in between, talking about something they're interested in, right? So I shine the spotlight on them, and I'm just like, hey, what are you doing and how are you doing it? Why do you do it? Why do you do what you do? What makes you happy, passionate, all that sort of stuff. And a conversation always flows really nicely as a result of that. And it also gives me a good opportunity to learn a bit more about some other topic and another person in a really nice environment. Yeah,
it's really cool, because obviously I was looking through once again, and just like some of the guests you've got on there, I've either had on like my LinkedIn or my social media for ages. And I'm like, a couple of them I've even got my Facebook. And I was like, how the hell, like, I didn't even know you guys fully existed in this sense. You've just always kind of been there, because the world we're in, we do end up crossing paths with everyone, don't we? We do. You just cross paths with people, even if it's a connection on LinkedIn and a basic hello. You do really cross these people, but they are such interesting characters. Like, the thing sometimes, but obviously me and you chatted a little bit before the show, is I can get some really good content before I've even pressed live, and I'm like, shit. And I'm like, right, stop there. We're going to press live and we're going to dive straight into it. Because like you say, you can get into these really good tangents with people, but you don't want to lose it, because because it was a tangent, they'll never get it back the same way. They was passionate at that time and everything. And it's so important to grab them moments. And it's like when I've said to people as well, if you're ever chatting with an interesting character face to face or anything like that, just record it if they're happy with it, because you will not know wherever you've been. You can just say, I've just had a conversation with so-and-so, we recorded it. Just take clips out of it. Just record any part of it just while you're having your normal conversation. You'll be amazed the content you can get out of that is unreal. It's so good content.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's so true. There's a guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, right, has a very proven method for kind of content creation. And he does this thing, it's like a pyramid scheme. So he actually does an upside down triangle. And at the top, he does a long form type piece of content. And usually it's in the form of a YouTube video, right? Yep. And it will be either him interviewing someone or him just talking or doing something. But what he then does, he gives it to a team who then go, right, takes that YouTube clip and makes it into a podcast, and then that podcast into like loads of different little YouTube kind of teasers or Facebooks or Instagram posts or whatever it might be. Then he takes the transcripts and writes that into an article. He then takes little bits of that article, makes them into quotes, which then becomes pictures on his Instagram, on his Twitter. You know, takes one piece of content and he like funnels it down into about 50 different types. And that is why his Instagram is so huge. That's why his channels are so big. It's because he's just constantly regurgitating content. And I'm a big believer that content is king, right? If you can produce content, then you'll definitely win amongst other people. But one little tip that somebody told me once, which I found really helpful, is that you don't need to actually reproduce. You don't need to produce more content all the time. You don't need to necessarily have brand spanking new stuff. You can actually repurpose old stuff that's done really well. So about a year ago, a friend of mine said to me, "Why are you struggling with content?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm just really kind of struggling for ideas and I feel like I've done everything." He's like, "Right, go back through your Instagram and just look at what the top performing 20 posts were for the last year." So I did that. And he goes, "Right, okay, what you want you to do is I want to repurpose each single one of those 3 times. So whether it's a photo into a video or video into a photo or a carousel or a quote or whatever it might be, that's your challenge. Repurpose all 20 of them." And I started doing it and I ended up repurposing more. And I ended up getting about 150 pieces of content from content I already produced. And the great thing was, there's that content already works. I know that it works. And what's funny is that then I posted it again and you forget that your audience changes all the time. So the people that saw it last time, right, are going to, who haven't seen it, sorry, are going to be like, "Oh, this is great." But even if someone's seen it before, I've never had a message in all of the years I've been on social media saying, "Hey, I really didn't like that post that you posted again. I've seen it once before and I really didn't like that." So, it's a really sort of, it's a lot of people get caught up on kind of wanting to produce more, but you don't actually have to. You just have to repurpose what you've already done.
Yeah, completely right. And, it's like I say to people in particular, actually, say it to the right person. If you've got some great professional photos and things like that, just repurpose them, keep regurgitating them. It's absolutely fine. For me, I always say about people scrolling on social media, people are scrolling on particular on it, like Instagram, unconsciously. Yeah. They're just like brain dead, just scrolling on it and just tapping stuff. All you need to do is get them to stop and turn conscious. That's all you need them to do. And then they can engage with your post. Regurgitating them photos, and it will maybe help because they've seen it once or twice. And like, I swear I've seen this photo before. Yeah. You're going to stop them and they're going to turn conscious. You really need to do that. And it really does help regurgitating content. It really does.
Absolutely.
But Jack, we've been talking for nearly half an hour, mate. So
gosh, wow, it goes quick.
Yeah, it really does go quick. But is there any last tips or anything you'd like to leave us all with, or anything you'd like to share before we bugger off and live our lives?
I will. Yeah, I'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes. And, I've got to the point now where this quote has become something that I almost have to etch on my walls. I love it so much. But it's from a guy called Naval Ravikant. And he is basically an American investor and he's an extremely smart guy. He's got awesome books out and everything like that. And he says that in life, right, people spend too much time comparing themselves to other people, right? They find themselves going down the rabbit hole of kind of, comparing and then doing and then not working and wondering why. And it's this negative feedback loop that you get really, really stuck in. And his answer to that is your uniqueness is your competitive advantage. So if you think about that for a second and think about how if your uniqueness is your competitive advantage, right? By you being you, you will succeed as a result because you will have the only advantage that you have over everybody else, right? And the wonderful thing about that is that if you just be authentic and true to yourself, you will become a better version of yourself, not just in your life, but around for everyone else around you as well. So your uniqueness is your competitive advantage is what I'd like to leave people with.
Well, I like that. I really like that. I like that little golden nugget. But Jack, honestly, I'm going to kick you backstage. Don't rush off straight away. I'll have a quick natter with you. But thank you so much for coming on the show, and I will speak to you shortly.
Lovely. Thanks very much for having me, Callum.
Oh, never met. Love him already. Obsessed. But yes, thank you so much for watching Kwak TV, because why watch Crap TV where you can watch Kwak TV with me, Callum here. And make sure you tune in tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. We've got another fabulous guest on the show, so make sure you tune in tomorrow. And remember, you can catch every single one of my replays on my YouTube channel. That way, Kwak Talks right there. Make sure you go and catch every replay. I've had business #1 motivational speaker in the UK. I've had best-selling authors. I've had everything on the show, so make sure you go and check it out. And yes, thank you so much for watching, everyone. And like I say every day, bear with me. What comment was that? Gary Jones, the podcast is called the Jack Revell Show. I know that because I was looking at it earlier. So there you go. So yes, in the words of my nana, everybody, if you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, don't get caught.